Hello and welcome to the FinanceFeeds podcast series. Today I'm joined by Paul Orford from AMB Prime in Cyprus. Hello, Paul.
Good morning, Andrew, and thank you very much for letting me be on the first podcast. I feel very, very honoured. And I'm sure it'll be more like Radio 1 than North at Digital. So
it's good to be. Indeed so. So I think today we're going to start with a very interesting subject that is something that both you and I have really talked about at length. And that is what retail traders really want from their service providers. And actually you're one step away from that because you're at the institutional level, but you're providing services to those companies that provide to retail end users. And I think from the research that I've done over the last few years that there's been so much marketing effort lately that especially with online things that are not necessarily directly related to trading, that go viral and then disappear after a second. So I think my opinion is traders don't want glitzy trinkets and over-the-top presentation. They want good, solid, reliable trading platforms and good, solid, reliable trading partners, for example, their brokerage or their prime broker.
Very, very, that's hit the nail right on the head. I would suggest if anybody hasn't read it already to read the fabulous article that you've done this morning regarding this. It really does cover all the subjects very, very perfectly. What we try to do here at AMB Prime is we're not focused on the retail client. What we're looking to do is to find actual real traders in inverted commas who are going to generate us volume. Okay, so how we could do this is by showing them, and this is for a lot of high-end brokerages similar to ourselves as well, they can show them where the trades are being executed, everything is nice and transparent, and really that's the core of what any, and I hate to say the word real trader is looking for. There are other traders which would maybe fall into the gimmicky type of things, whether it's I'm only going to trade with you because you sponsor a football team, or there's some other odd piece of technology that's come out, or many other facets, but that's not really the market which myself and my peers are looking for. But really what you're looking to do for the real good clients, the high quality ones, is kind of like going to a very nice restaurant, a Michelin star restaurant. You're going to give them a high service. You can show them where the execution's going, much like you could show them the provenance of their food in a decent restaurant.
I agree.
Because that's the service that they're looking for.
They are indeed, and I think that there's one of the things that is misunderstood by a lot of sort of front-end sales departments these days is that actually, having been established for quite a long time, the retail sector now is emulating the institutional sector, and the existing customer base, which is around about 6 to 7 million traders worldwide, is very, very much an established trader base now. So rather than attempting to try and attract the younger people and the new people to trading by bringing in strange videos via Vine, which collapsed, Meerkat, which tweets out video that collapsed. This kind of media is not relevant and is far too much noise on the internet about this. But actually, what should be concentrated on is the existing trader base, who are very astute, very learned. They are not interested in being diverted by loud noise such as marketing campaigns or the next latest viral video campaign or anything like that. They're interested in how can they refine their skills, how can they improve on the profits they're already making, and these are the quiet majority. You never hear from those people. They are quiet people who are concentrating on their trading, and I think that is something which brokers really should bear in mind.
No, I agree. I mean, really, their offering hasn't changed since day one what they're looking for. Okay, they're looking to make sure that execution is on the money. Again, I keep stressing that execution, great spreads, and also transparency in the brokerage. They want to make sure that their funds are going to somewhere safe, not going to some random, far-off, wonderful country. And again, if you look at what the person would look like, he's not going to be interested again in these fads. Because he's in it for the long haul. The person who's interested in a fad is a short-term guy who's probably not going to deposit that much, isn't going to be effective for me on the STP model on a profit basis because we're not going to generate that much volume from him. And it's just not the sort of person you need to deal with if you're taking all the overheads from the amount of support they require, the whole shooting match, just to get a low-level sort of guy. isn't of any use to us to my peers as well. It just doesn't make sense. So you're actually losing money by attracting these type of people. Do you think the electricity, the phone calls, the staff members I've got to pay for, the amount of commission we make on it is peanut. It's insignificant.
It is.
So it's better to aim for someone with a great core offering where you know what he's going to require. He's going to require an institutional type service, and therefore you're going to get a couple of yards out the guy a month, and therefore everybody's very, very happy.
That's right. And of course, you also have another cost as well, which is the cost of developing some of these things. You see, some of those engagement tools some of them are cartoons, and some of them are social network orientated. All of them are insignificant. There's not been any successful take-up of any of these particular things. There's even ones that have had, for example, Meerkat had a $12 million initial round of funding as a seed funding. It failed after a year and a half. Nobody from our industry took it up. Yet at the beginning, you had people who spent far more time cultivating beards with a point at the end, or drinking coffee in a coffee bar, rather than actually concentrating on a decent day's hard work and understanding what traders need to be able to be profitable. And it just doesn't work in the end. And the thing is, the actual target audience of that is the coffee drinkers, it is the beard growers, it's not the serious traders. It's actually those who are never going to deposit anything, and instead they're going to walk around with their smartphone saying, look at these cool new apps that I've got. And actually all it does is amount to absolutely no revenue whatsoever for anybody.
Yeah. Well, you absolutely hit the nail on the head there with regards to these cartoon type figures. The only people who take them up are cartoon brokerages, the Mickey Mouse ones. You know what I mean? It's the only people who are going to take them up.
Right.
I mean, seriously, who in their right mind who is going to say, you know what, I'm an institutional brokerage. I am what I say. I'm not just advertising that I'm an STP or ECN. Oh, by the way, we've got this new gimmick. It's just, why would you do it? It's just a waste of time. All you've got to do is make sure the spreads are as tight as possible and the execution's great. I know it sounds very boring, and it really does sound quite boring, but it's all traders want, real traders.
It is, and you can be pretty sure.
It's really not hard.
It is, and you can be pretty sure that they are monitoring this all the time. And if one of them starts to lose their interest in and do less volume, it isn't because they're not being engaged by some kind. I would advise any broker not to rush out and look for these kinds of reasons to engage millennials or whatever. Go on the internet and look. People are looking at all these articles which are top 10 this, top 10 that. It's just nonsense. It doesn't actually have any substance. It will not create a long-term investor. Look at Hargreaves Lansdown, a British company, biggest financial services company in Britain, £6 billion market capitalisation, publicly listed company, based in Bristol, not London, and has a white label from IG Group called HL Markets. It is the quietest company you'll ever hear of. Nobody hears of it. They do a tiny bit of TV advertising in Britain, but not very much. However, their customers are using a platform called Vantage, which is they use it themselves. It is a multiple investment platform. They can control all of their investments from one platform. You never ever see a company like Hargreaves Lansdown resorting to glitzy marketing tactics or putting up 5-second videos to try and grab their traders' attentions. Never. And it is a £6 billion company with a purely domestic audience. So quite clearly they understand their customers. They know what their customers want, and they're making it easy for their customers to be able to execute their it's not just Forex, it's the British oriented things like SIPs and ISAs and things like that as well.
Yeah, sure.
They actually are a retail-oriented company, a very big one, that doesn't go down that route and are very, very successful and been around for 30-something years. Whereas these things, these gimmicks last 2 seconds and away they go. They might have a million viewers on YouTube, and that's it after a year.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a gimmick which is, I mean, by its nature we call it a gimmick, but one that's lasted, that's become... part of the infrastructure.
Well, you see,
I can't think of one. Social trading? It's not a gimmick, is it?
That's interesting that you should mention social trading, because that isn't a gimmick, but it was regarded as one when it first came out. However, one of the pioneers of this, which is Tradency, has recently made a platform called RoboX. What that does is it uses their big data they've collected over the 11 years they've been in existence to find strategies for... If a trader has been trading a specific strategy or following a specific lead trader, and then all of a sudden there's a change in activity, for example, they start to trade less or they drop off, it senses that, picks up a new lead trader, and keeps them engaged. Or if there's a market event, which means that the strategy that a lead trader was using isn't suitable for a specific trader, then they switch it to a different one using the big data. Now that got launched only 3 4 months ago, and it has 12 brokers have taken it up already. So quite clearly, that is a technology-oriented thing which uses trading data of the past trade, rather like those things where you test your algorithms or you test your historic tick information. It's like that but for social trading, and actually that is a company that understands its customers because they are using trading data of past trades to actually find the right strategies, and 12 brokers have taken it up. Whereas things like Tunimo, which is a cartoon-based social trading app, well, how many customers have they got?
Yeah, that's it. I think we can draw a conclusion based upon what you've said there.
Yes.
I mean, it's things like Spotware, companies like that as well. They understand where the market's going.
Yes, indeed they do.
They've got that infrastructure in development. It's not like an idea and we put developers around it. Developers and traders have come up with the idea, so it's got a stronger fundamental and a higher probability of being used to me.
That's absolutely right.
Rather than trying to force the idea onto me and telling me why it's most of these things are of no use to me.
That's a very good example. Spotware, if you look at their development team, they're very hard working. They're studying all the time exactly what's happening, and they understand the trading environment. They're not just marketing people who want to show off a flashy GUI. They know what the algo trading systems are. They know how that works. They know exactly how to build a trading system around a brokerage. And that's why they can do it pretty quickly as well. So that's quite a good example of why they and MetaQuotes have a good off-the-shelf platform market share. Whereas if you have a company like Tradable, for example, Tradable was a great idea, but they went down the marketing route. They tried to get in Japan, which is very hard. They went down the route of making it look trendy, very application-based, having hackathons and things, and it bit the dust. Which is a shame, because it was a very nice idea, but it bit the dust. It wasn't the bread and butter trading platforms that the experienced traders want.
No, it's true. I mean, any business like this, you've really got to stick to the fundamentals first of giving something that people need as opposed to pushing your needs on them.
That's right.
If that kind of makes sense, where you're trying to introduce... People are very conservative. They're always going to be very conservative. They fear change.
That's right.
And you slowly got to bring them by the hand and say, look, the reason why we're doing this is because of X, Y, and Z. You can still do what you're doing before, but this is a real useful addition to what you're currently doing. As opposed to saying, look, forget everything that you've been doing prior to this. Everything is wrong.
Yes.
This is right. You're going to find so much resistance because human beings hate being told that they're wrong.
Absolutely right, especially in this industry, because this is the mistake that's made often. It is an online business, so therefore there is a digital element because the front end is digital. However, it is a financial instrument and it is a relationship business. So therefore, that aspect takes away the need for it to be anywhere near all of those viral video things that you see on YouTube. It's completely not relevant. And I think that's the difference. I think that's really something that has to be concentrated on. I'm all for innovative trading platform ideas, but ones that actually enhance the trading environment, not ones that add baubles and things like that to it.
Well, you're right though. It's something which complements an existing service. You've got a higher probability of it being successful, rather than, again, and I'm probably going to get shot down by a lot of people in the comments section here about me saying that something which is revolutionary and saying that everything in the past is wrong. It may be wrong, but the chances of you making a financial success of it or making any money from it is going to be limited. So you slowly got to bring people through.
That's absolutely
and say, look, it does actually complement what you're doing. However, it can stand next to it and let's bring it. I guess it's the same with any bridge provider.
Yes.
For example, if they're currently using the bridge, why is my bridge, an opposing bridge person comes and says, why is mine better because of X, Y, and Z? Same with liquidity. Use my liquidity because of X, Y, and Z, but I'm using this guy. Obviously, it comes down to the salesperson to get their point across, but it's all very similar what we do. So a lot of it comes down to a relationship and how we manage the account, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely right. That's indeed correct. And I think that's a very fascinating subject we'll certainly pick up on again. Thank you very much for joining me, Paul Orford from AMB Prime in Cyprus.
It's a pleasure, Andrew, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
All the very best. Bye.
Take care. Bye.